In other words, if you take a rose and mix it with a carnation, you'll get a hybrid type of a flower. You mix two different types together, and you get a third that didn't exist previously before you mix the two together. I think aluminum is a mixed metal, that you mix two different types of metals together, and through an amalgamation of metals, you get a third metal, and you get aluminum. So, if you amalgamate and mix angels with the gene pool of human women, you get a hybrid, disembodied hybrid that's now cast out into the realm of the spirit in a fourth dimensional realm that you cannot see, but yet they're searching for host bodies to get inside of to be worshipped again. Mm-hmm. And if you understand what they're after, you understand why you have people on earth that are made into stars, political stars, recording stars, movie stars, athletic stars. These things are looking for arenas through which they can lift themselves up to be worshipped over the human race. And the human race is set up in a global caste system whereby the lower ranking spirits are commanded by the master of the fallen angels, Satan, to worship the higher ranking spirits. So you find, we'll show you later on as we go through this in 2 Peter and Jude, that these things came from amongst the fallen angels, and a section of the fallen angels came into the women in rebellion against God, and God has actually judged them already and confined them to the lower levels of the underworld, chaining them until he judges them later on in his eternal plan. But here now we have the nomadic hybrids roaming the earth looking for a host body to live through. Remember now, man's preoccupation with the heavenlies is actually coming from this hybrid human that has a half angelic, half human makeup. So therefore, the fathers came from the heavenlies. So just like you see E.T. wanting to phone home all the time in that movie, he had a desire to get back to the stars from which he came. So these hybrids have a preoccupation with the heavenlies. And so they assigned every human on earth a birth sign, a zodiac sign, that affiliated the human with the heavenlies. Gemini, Taurus, Sagittarius, Virgo, Scorpio. These are all affiliated with heavenly bodies, because these hybrids have a predisposition for the heavenlies from which they really came from, coming through the fallen angels as their offspring. Now remember, these disembodied spirit beings can only exist and show forth their character traits and their desires at the expense of a human being. What do I mean by that? They have to actually degrade and siphon off your personality and your character traits in order for them to express theirs. They must basically hold the human prisoner in your own body. When you have any conception of God or Jesus Christ or righteousness, the natural inclination is to resist them. I'll give you an example of what I mean. You take young Beyonce Knowles, the popular singer down here now, who actually has built a career on sexual perversion and all kinds of erotic dancing and all kinds of songs that have these lyrics that are really erotic, and she has an erotic side of her that she projects on the human race in order to get people to worship her and make her a star. But she was brought up in the church. When these hybrids, these Nephilim offspring came into her, the Nephilim is a word that comes from the Hebrew word nephal, which means to fall down. They're fallen ones. They're the offspring of the fallen angels. Beyonce was raised in the church, and she began to want to be a star, so she had to begin to do the things that the devil required from you in order to be a star, i.e. Marilyn Monroe had to sign her life over to Satan. James Mansfield signed her life over to Satan. Marilyn Manson, several rock and roll groups, Black Sabbath, Blue Oyster Cult, Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones, the Beatles, all these people. You get these hardcore satanic groups like Korn and Kiss and all that stuff from the 70s and 80s, and going back into the drug culture of Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix and all these kinds of people who were caught up in the drug culture and all this New Age mysticism.
And you see the essence of this worship in the stars that we have today. They all emulate those guys that he just mentioned. Mm-hmm. Everybody today that's out there, you ask them who their influence was, and it's going to be the Beatles or Jimi Hendrix or somebody from especially the 60s and 70s, because that's when this thing started steamrolling out of control,
right,
with the introduction of drugs and free sex and the lesbian movement, which they aka feminism,
yeah.
You know.
Just a bunch of bra-burning lesbians who were casting off any kind of male authority or relationships with men.
And it's all twisted, man. And we're just not sitting here just saying this. The thing that's almost scary about it is that the things that are being taught out there as far as aliens and these, they have elements of the truth, but we're reading out of the Bible. We're not reading out of the Quran or out of some Hindu text or some other fable. This is where the rubber meets the road is, and the Lord has given us the Bible as a hidden treasure for those that really want to seek out the truth. And it's not a compromise to say that, you know, we're not going to compromise it by saying, well, you have some truth over there, you Hindus. All cultures had some sort of depiction of Noah's Ark and the flood. And all, the New Age, like I said a minute ago, the New Age teachers they want to say that the earth was colonized by these aliens. See, there's an element of truth to it. But the reality of it is the colonization was taking place by these fallen spirits that left their first estate. They left the place where they were, where God created them in the heavenlies. They were forbidden to do what they did, but they went and did it anyway. They rebelled. And now we got this mutated byproduct, this mutated offspring. The whole earth has been affected by. Every living creature is affected by this thing. It's just the way life is right now on this planet, and it's perverted and twisted, and we got to be saved out of it. So that's why we turn to Jesus Christ, because His blood is the only thing that's going to make us clean and able to come into the presence of the Lord when He finally ends this viral infection, which we believe is soon to come.
Exactly. So if you get back to the story I was telling you about Beyonce, and let me make this perfectly clear about Beyonce. I love Beyonce. I think she's a beautiful young lady, talented, singer. I mean, I have nothing but accolades for her as a person. But we're dealing with an invasion, a supernatural invasion from the spirit world that has come to destroy her. And I actually pray for her that the Lord save her from her own destruction, because she's been deceived by desiring to be a star and wanting to be lifted up on earth within the confines of Satan's kingdom. Let me say this to anybody listening to us. We don't bring condemnation. We don't bring judgment and humiliation and anything against another human being. That is not our purpose. Our purpose is to enlighten people to see that we're all under attack.
Right.
From an unseen spiritual force that seeks to steal, kill, and destroy us, and to actually undermine our existence and see us go to hell because they have a desire to see the human race annihilated. So you have to see it from the point of view of God desiring to save us from this invading force. So Beyonce, raised as a Christian, desiring to be a star, opened herself up to this spirit being that has come in, and it requires her to do all kinds of deranged, detestable, filthy things in order to be worshipped by the other spirit beings that are in the lower ranking classes that inhabit other human beings. So, unable in her own mind to actually be able to do the filth required by the devil, she created an alter ego named Sasha Fierce to do the filth that was necessary to rise to stardom, while at the same time trying to keep herself sanitized from the filth by maintaining a little girl quality, as Beyonce knows. But see, when she entered into the realm of Satan through marrying a guy like Jay-Z, the guy who calls himself Jehovah, the great MC, Jehovah God, lifting himself up to be an icon that's equal to God. She had to actually split off another personality named Sasha Fierce in order to enter into that realm of debauchery, filth, and degeneration that Satan commands and demands from his subjects.